This is the Anything Show with John Francois.
Hey, Alan, how's it going?
Hello, John. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Your resume as an actor is just endless. I mean, I am millennial, so I know you growing up from Spy Kids. So it's really a true honor to talk to you. However, being a former actor myself, I mean, I have to kind of ask about your experience with the craft here. So I know that you have a lot of training in the UK, Scotland, England, that kind of thing. What is your impression of training as an actor in the UK versus training in this country? Because I feel like there's just a different mode of seriousness between one and the other.
Well, first of all, it's been a very long time since I trained. I was at the early 80s when I went to drama school, and I haven't trained in America, but I mean I have experience of working with people who have. I feel like the thing here is that training goes on much longer. People sort of keep going to. They don't think of it as something that you train and then you work. It's it's sort of elongated, and maybe people don't train in a sort of concentrated way. They kind of just do it over a number of years whilst working. I spoke to someone the other day that I've been making a film with, and he was working, for a few years, and he went back and got to drama school after that. So I think for us in Scotland, anyway, in Britain, it was very much like I went to drama school for 3 years. I came out, and I wasn't like a fully formed Alan Cumming. I was sort of, this little embryo. But I just started working, and kind of, you learned on the job that way. I think training here is more sort of dissipated in a way. And I also think people are a little more serious with training here. It's more sort of, I don't know, I find sometimes American actors need to lighten up a bit and be a bit lighter. I mean that in all sorts of ways, like in their mood as well as in the sort of, you've got to be able to roll with the punches a bit more and kind of not be put off by things. I'm a big advocate of the try acting. That's the thing that Laurence Olivier said to Dustin Hoffman when he was doing I think it was the Marathon Man, and he ran and stayed up and didn't sleep, and so that he would look and feel a certain way in a scene, and Laurence Olivier said to him, why don't you try acting? I'm in that camp.
Okay. Now I love the amount of Shakespeare that you've done. I mean, as someone who used to be an actor, I mean, I remember in high school going to the Oregon Shakespeare Festival. So to see your work in, Romeo and Juliet, Hamlet, the Scottish play, as we call it for superstitious reasons. And I've always wanted to ask this, with a, Shakespearean actor like yourself. I mean, what do you say to people hesitant to dive into Shakespeare, either as a reader or as a viewer of the theatrical productions, because of things like, the heightened English language, you know what I mean? Like, what do you say to those people who may be afraid that they will feel that disconnect?
I think, try not to be afraid. Actually, it's a conditioning, because actually what to me is really exciting is that, Shakespeare's got these rules, not rules, but sort of a structure that makes it, the rhythm of it. Obviously, there's sometimes words we don't understand because we don't use those words anymore. But actually, if you think about it like a song, the music of it comes through because there is a rhythm there. And I feel it's the best thing for me about it is when new people with new different voices come and interpret Shakespeare in a new way. That to me is really exciting. I don't really like hearing a bunch of English people just sort of sing Shakespeare. To me, it's about real people using this language to sort of reveal something about themselves, and that's why we keep doing these plays, because they have something to say to us. Are still relevant, because every generation, every a new era has a new way of interpreting them. So that, I think, is, and so in order for that to happen, you have to get young new people to approach it and to make it their own. So I know it is daunting, and especially I think in America, people are a little intimidated by the sort of Englishness of it all. And I understand that, being a Scottish person. Like when I talk about this in my book, when I played Hamlet, and Romeo actually, I did it in my own accent, and people were horrified. It was really a a shocking thing. People are like, why are you doing this? Why are you not speaking in an English accent? And my first thing would say was, well, first of all, Hamlet's Danish. If anything, I should be doing it in a Danish accent. But it's just, there's these sort of rules, and you just have to like smash the rules. And just and there's enough rules. There's the rules you shouldn't smash are Shakespeare's, the rhythm of the text, because it's all there for you. Oops.
Right. Oh, is that your phone?
I think so. Something keeps pinging up. I'm not quite sure why.
Oh, well, you're
go somewhere.
You're a very busy man, so I wouldn't be surprised. So going back to how I grew up watching you in the Spy Kids movies, how like the serious kind of character research that you may get into with like Shakespeare productions, any other productions like Cabaret that maybe adults would enjoy more than kids, is that something that you still apply when you do your average kind of blockbuster movie like a Spy Kids, where it's family friendly, where it just seems more light, fun, loose? Like do you approach it with the same level of like intensity, or do you just kind of like think of it as a day off?
No, I do. I mean, I think you've got to be. There's many years ago, someone said to me, "You can be about acting." Said you can be as big as you like as long as you mean it, and I think that's a really great thing. When I do, something like Spy Kids, you have to just. I think I really am that person, and I live on an island, and I have a TV show, and I'm kind of. All that stuff. I think it's, you've got to be light, and you've got to understand style and tone and things like that. But I mean, acting, I don't think is that difficult. You just have to pretend to be someone and mean it. And so I feel like I take the same sort of sense of seriousness in that I'm completely being a person, but also lightness in that you have to be able to find humor in even the darkest things. And also you can find, great sort of empathy in funny things too. I just think that's why I really love, like the Christopher Guest films. I think those are really clever and that they're hilarious, but also the reason they're so funny is because you understand who those people are, and they have, like, my favorite film ever is actually Waiting for Guffman, which is about a group of a little sort of amateur theatre group in the Midwest doing a show and thinking they're going to go to Broadway, and it's so tragic actually, but also completely hilarious. And the people in it, that great group of actors like Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy and everything, they do it with such the commitment. They absolutely commit. They're not just presenting. They're not kind of trying to sort of raise an eyebrow and let you in on it. They're just completely being those people. So I think that's a good example. You just have to really commit.
Well, Alan Cumming, it's been an honor to talk to you, and best of luck. I mean, I read some of your latest book, Baggage, and your story is just beyond fascinating to read and to really absorb. So thank you so much for speaking with me, man.
Thank you, John. Lovely to talk to you.
The Anything Show with John Francois is on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get podcasts. Join us on YouTube, Facebook.com/The Anything Show, and Instagram and TikTok @Anything Show Francois.